Retirement, you can see it. It's getting closer, but you don't want that money to go to taxes, do you? That's why every week we check in with Kevin Lloyd from Legacy Wealth Advisors. Good morning, Kevin Lloyd.
Good morning, McGraw. Good morning, Kelly. How you both doing?
We're doing good. Let's talk a little retirement. Good. And potentially this is important because when you turn 65, then you get on Medicare, Medicaid. But before 65, you have found out people are not taking advantage of the Affordable Care Act.
McGraw, they're not taking advantage of the Affordable Care Act. And what I see is a lot of people are working to 65, not because they have to. They just want to stay on their health plan from their current employer. And what I found is that if you work within the system, you could potentially get 100% of your health insurance subsidized by the government. In fact, I actually have an example of someone who actually called my office from listening to the show. You remember a few months ago we were talking about this and showing how people can get health insurance tax-free. Well, someone actually called me up and they gave me some of their details, and they basically said, hey, we're getting ready to start Social Security in December of this year when we both turn 64. The husband's check was like $2,167 a month, and hers was $1,300 a month. And they said, we're getting ready to start this. We've got pensions coming in and some other income. It totals about $24,000 a year. And we only need like $60,000 net. That's why we're going to turn on Social Security. And I said, hold on just a minute. Let me ask you a few more questions. How much do you have in assets? They said about $1.1 million. They told me the placement of it and everything. And I said, okay, first off, you have questions about subsidies, about the government subsidies for your health insurance. You got to look at this a little different because, see, retirement is different. And if you make the wrong mistake, you could end up losing thousands of dollars in taxes. Okay? And so this person, I showed them, I said, listen, just bear with me for a second. If you do not take Social Security, what you're telling me is the only income that would show up on your tax return is $24,000. And they said, yeah, that's correct. I said, okay, so let's take a look at this. So let's forget about taking Social Security for right now because you want to maximize it anyways. If your income's $24,000 and we don't take Social Security, you can get subsidies of $2,100 a month to pay for your insurance. And they said, whoa, wait a second here, but we got $1.1 million in assets. It said the Affordable Care Act doesn't matter how much money you have in the bank. They care about how much your earned income is, what your adjusted gross income is at the end of the tax year. So the maximum you can make is $64,960. If you go over $1, and they would have, if they would have taken their Social Security, they would have gotten zero subsidies. And so in this case, they would have had to take out an extra $2,000 a month just to cover health insurance. I told them to forego Social Security. They got basically $24,000 a year to pay for insurance, and basically that would give them a bronze plan at zero cost. Now, some people say, oh, it's a bronze plan. It's not a silver or a gold. Well, right, but it's still actually a pretty good plan. But if you really want a better plan, it's only going to cost you like $78 a month.
Right.
So they got $24,000 a year from the government. See, you have to understand retirement to understand this. And I said, listen, if you just maximize your Social Security because you're going to be 64 this year, and your husband and wife, they're both going to be 64, the wife, if she waits till 66, her check will be $1,500. The husband, he can take a spousal benefit based upon the wife's record and get a check for $750 and forgo his check and get these delayed credits of 8% per year. And when he's 70, he can switch back over to his benefit, and his check goes up to $3,300 a month.
So hold on a second. So what you're saying is this person can delay their benefits and have them grow more, and because they're doing that, they can then take advantage of the Affordable Care Act, have their health insurance covered, and still allow their Social Security to grow.
Absolutely. So instead of taking $41,000 a year, their check goes up to $57,000, and that's what I think. When you're building a financial plan, you want to build that foundation as strong as you possibly can get it, because it's just like building a house. if that foundation it crumbles, that whole house is coming down. You want to maximize Social Security, get the most out of the system, but see, you got to work within the rules, right? Now, going back to our tax workshops that we have, I'm actually going to show this example of this particular client who's going to do all of these things to get health insurance subsidized at $24,000 a year, increase their Social Security, and then I'm going to show them how they're going to get this $57,000 in Social Security 100% tax-free.
It's a Rubiks Cube in retirement, right? You have to know when to put the red and the blue and the green all together. Kevin Lloyd, tell us about these tax workshops, because you have 2 in a row now, right?
I do, yeah. So November 14th, we booked that one up, and we actually had a waiting list for it. And so people were asking to get in, and I said, I just don't have any more space. So I ended up doing it, and I said, okay, I'll open it up to the next day on November 15th, and I only got space for maybe like 6 more people, if I remember correctly, because it's filling up as well, too, and we'll take a waiting list for that as well. But we're going to talk about how there's hidden brackets inside of our tax system, and it only happens to retirees that if they don't watch how they get their money, they could be paying as high as 55% tax on the last dollar they're taking out of their account.
The phone number to find out more. So it's November 14th and 15th at your office on 141 and Highway 40, 314-641-1010, 314-641-1010. The website is whenretirementhappens.com, and it's November 14th and November 15th at 6 p.m.?
That's correct. Now, the 14th has been booked. We have room for the 15th, and we only have room for a few more people.
Well, I'll get you a shoehorn, and you can shoehorn the people in there, help you out. Kevin Lloyd, have a good day. Thanks for checking in. Good stuff.
You too.